While the other name of immigration is controversy in the United Kingdom, here in northeast Anglia, the city of Norwich tells its story of growth and diversity brewing out of the melting pot. Earlier this year, in June 2014, BBC Radio Norfolk held a live immigration debate program here in Forum. The panel comprised of eminent personalities and a live audience which consisted of the people from Norfolk.
One of the things that came out of our live immigration debate was that people had a lot of concerns about the numbers coming in, the rate of people arriving from other countries to what they believe is a very crowded island.
I think it's very difficult the way the media and actually local people also have a view that the immigrant population in a city like Norwich is very high. True that we do have a large number of immigrants, but actually in district councils, something just over 90% of people are British white. It's only something like 9% of people that are from ethnic minorities.
Hence, the question remains whether immigration as a topic is overhyped in the media or not.
Immigration and migration from the EU has been a very hot topic over the last year. It has become very involved with politics, and the general public are undoubtedly influenced by what is being said. This gives, on occasion, a slightly unrealistic view, or a view at a distance.
If you look at white, non-British, then of that 90%, only 6.1% are non-British white. So we're talking about a number of, 13% of people.
And also the debate that's going on in social media, citizen publishing. So many people can put their opinions out there, and it is not just the press, the tabloid press, or the broadcasters.
So I don't think the immigration population is as great as the media make it out to be. That said, there are some parts of the country I understand where the density might be greater.
On the other hand, the remarkable city that we see today has stemmed out of centuries of migration. People coming here were called strangers by the locals. The vast cultural migration has enriched the city's history, economy and ethnicity.
People have been coming into Norwich for as long as recorded history, so as I say, 2,000 years. The Romans are coming in, of course, about 2,000 years ago as conquerors. They laid down street patterns, and in fact, if people who are walking down streets in Norwich, like the Durham Road and St Benedict's, are walking down a road pattern which was laid down 2,000 years ago by the Romans. 500 years later, you're getting the Saxons who are coming in. Some of the things they're giving us are place names that people now use without thinking about it. A lot of people call this area East Anglia. What does that actually mean? Where is Middle Anglia and where is West Anglia? These are the kingdoms of the Angles. So this was the kingdom of East Anglia, and there was a West Anglia in the west of England and the Middle Anglia in the Birmingham sort of area.
I think it's hugely important for the city of Norwich to have had 2,000 years worth of immigration. The English as a race are like they are because we've absorbed lots and lots of really good things from all kinds of people who we've welcomed in and have become part of the English. And Norwich is a microcosm of that.
Norwich is Saxon, the Saxon word Norwick, the northern trading settlement. So people are using words, names, every day without thinking about them, and they're names given by the Saxons.
The Norfolk dialect has picked up bits of Dutch and bits of French and bits of Flemish. Some streets are called Pottergate or Fishergate, and that's a Danish term, a Danish suffix meaning way of the fishermen or way of the potters. And so the Danes were here before the Norman conquest, and they've left their mark on the city as well.
In the time before the Norman conquest, so say about 1000 AD, Norwich is very much a mixture. And then suddenly, the Norman conquest, where the Normans are coming over, imposing their will upon the city in a very dramatic way.
We've got a huge stone cathedral and castle, and they were built by the Normans, so the most iconic pieces of architecture in the city are the result of immigration.
The castle dominates the city centre of Norwich. Its design was influenced by castles in Brionnais and Falaise in Normandy. The aim was to make a royal palace rather a fortification. However, unfortunately, no Norman king ever lived here except Henry I, who spent a Christmas here in 1126. Now, the Saxons had their marketplace in Tombland, which means open space. Trading was easy due to its easy proximity from the river. The Normans closed it down and brought the marketplace to the present-day marketplace in order to keep an eye on all the activities from the castle battlements.
You look around and you see pan tiles on the roofs, you see Dutch and Flemish gabled buildings, and the whole fabric of immigration has left its mark on the city. Probably most dramatic, Norwich was for a long time the second city in England, and that wealth was driven by the textile industry. And in the mid-1500s, there was a huge immigration of people from what we call the Low Countries, from northern France, the Netherlands, and modern-day Belgium. The second most wealthy Jewish population in England was in Norwich, and there's a very strong likelihood that they funded the building of the cathedral. So you won't see any obvious signs of that Jewish heritage, but the less obvious one is the cathedral wouldn't be there if they hadn't stumped up the money for it.
Even the black population has contributed significantly in enriching Norwich as a city.
Some of the work I've been doing recently has been about the history of the black population in Norfolk, most specifically on the history of African.
Norwich was one of the leading cities in the anti-slavery movement at a time when people in England were trying to build up a campaign against slavery in Africa and the transport of slaves across to the Americas.
The first thing that we must understand is that the black population has been here for hundreds and hundreds of years. Although the first one is in Great Yarmouth in 1582, it's a burial of somebody. And if they were here in 1580, I think they were here before, because Norfolk was connected globally in the medieval period by its ships and its traders and its merchants. The story that I see is a story where these people have arrived in the county and then they've been welcomed into local communities. So we can go and look at small villages around the county where we can find the records of people who are listed in their baptisms, and then they are becoming tradesmen, they're becoming shoemakers, they're becoming workers in all sorts of different environments.
And they did some quite interesting things, one of which, of course, was to invite former slaves, for example, who might come and live in the city and be welcomed here. Another, in a sense, very modern thing, which people don't think about, was that the women of Norwich, they boycotted produce that was made on slave plantations. In the 1780s, 1790s, Norwich was leading away in Britain in boycotting particularly tea, also rum, but also tea mainly, which was made in the slave plantations of the West Indies and the southern states of America, and they would insist that they would only buy tea which was made by free farmers, which were mainly at that time in the East Indies.
As you walk around the city of Norwich, you would find a varied number of shops, each bringing their own flavour to the British economy. Much appreciated by the local people, these migrations have helped Norwich become a very cosmopolitan city to live in.
It's interesting in a country that maybe doesn't recognise its cosmopolitan roots, that the things that English people like to do most is to go out for a curry or go out for a Chinese meal or something like that. And there are lots of those kind of shops there.
We've been here since 1974. My dad set up the business, so at the beginning they're mainly all British because there wasn't that many foreign people in this country or immigrants, where it used to be 100% or British. Now it's probably 60-40, 60% being foreign, like a student, a lot from mainland China. We have a lot of Indian customers, but majority of our customers now, I would say, are foreign or immigrant.
I'm the owner of Out of Africa Trading Post, the only African shop in Norwich, which serves a big community of Zimbabwean and South Africa, sometimes Nigerians, Ghana. We had a barbecue. It was the annual Norfolk Duck Race on the river at Wensum and we sold 45 crocodile burgers, and that was eaten all by English people. Not once that African bought crocodile burgers. In this section here we have all the exotic meats, which is predominantly eaten by the English.
They prefer the more blander food, so they will always have either a chow mein, a sweet and sour, a spring roll. So they go for the safe options like black bean, like something they've grown used to.
I've got reindeer, zebra, ostrich, springbok burgers, elk burgers, pythons, fillets, horse, mouflon from Cyprus.
We are Asian Bazaar. We are located at Anglia Square. Our family has been here for 10 years now, but we've been running the business for 8 years. When we came here, there wasn't much need of an Asian or African markets in Norwich itself. But throughout the year, the demand for the products has increased much higher. Therefore, which is good because we have been able to keep our business going as well as learn more and more about the culture. We specialize in Indian and African groceries and all the other kind of mixes food around the world.
Post China opening up his borders and more Chinese students are coming, we have to cook more spicier food. So we're seeing more people from Beijing, Sichuan, where we're from Canton, which we would have more sweet dishes. And there's another thing that we had to adapt was like our crispy aromatic duck, which is not, you can't find that in China. Europeans find the duck too fatty, so we had to develop a new dish which we put the same herbs in, but we fried it. So it seems like Europeans prefer fried, crispy food, whereas the Chinese will have the more delicate taste.
I run the Orient Express, which is an Asian food shop on the market. We've been here for about 8 years altogether, since 2006. I think when we started the shop, Asian food wasn't quite so popular. It's taken quite a long time, I think, to take off.
There used to be a small shop on the market, Norwich Market, when I came to visit here 4 years ago. And when I came back to live in the area, it was gone. And a lot of the holders asked me, please open a shop.
We do have a number of Chinese students who come from the university. We have students from all over the place, really. Indonesia, Thailand, Japan, Korea. We have a lot of couples, sort of mixed couples. English people probably comprise about half of our customers. You know, things like having the university open to foreign students, and also having people travel so much as they have done in the last 10 or 20 years, I think, it's really, it's produced a customer base that just wasn't there before.
With the immigration status of Britain and Hong Kong being quite good, that the chefs coming over, it remained open until it got closed, sort of when Hong Kong was handed back to China, and then it was more difficult for qualified chefs to come over. So it is word of mouth now. It's very difficult to find staff because of the immigration status.
In more recent years, international students coming to Norwich have added more life and variety to the city.
Driving force in the economy now is probably what we call the knowledge economy.
Places like the university have brought people from different cultures into Norwich.
And if you look at the people who make up those institutions, a big block of those are going to be from China, India, other parts of Asia.
And that, I think, has added to the richness and diversity of our city, enabling people to be exposed to different cultures, different experiences, and indeed students who come and then go back again take with them a feeling of what England can be like, and hopefully very, very positive images.
The significance of immigration from those countries is enormously great for the local economy.
People from outside can bring so much into the city, can help people understand each other. And what I find quite strange is that as a phylum of creatures on this earth, that we kind of view people not by who they are, but some people view them by the colour of their skin and where they came from. And what's much more important is what people's hearts are like, what they can bring, how hard they're prepared to work, what contributions they make, how they care for each other. nurses at the hospital where I used to be on the board, lots and lots of them came from overseas, and without them our health service wouldn't work as well as it does. So I believe that people are making a huge contribution, and I just hope that we can learn to live even better together as a society, because that's what makes us strong.